Hello again. As I have already said today, the whole world going to reduce the use of antibiotics. Therefore, despite the fact that they are necessary and will be needed in the future to reduce animal suffering, it is necessary to introduce different methods of animal health management to veterinary and livestock practice. Modern adult health management focuses on four pillars: environment, milking machine, milking procedures, and cow. Improving only one part will usually not bring the expected results. That's why complexity is so important. To think about environmental bacteria, we mainly imagine beddings and walking alleys. And it's very good, because in those places the cow has contact with these pathogens. Many different systems of beddings are used on farms, for example deep straw. Although on this example you can rather speak about deep manure. But to be honest, it's a picture from practice and not only one I took. Rubber and mattress are very popular, although they are not very comfortable for cows. And if you have experience with them, you know that are injuries and abrasions on cow's leg. It should be added that a very vicious situation is when the mattress are not littered with straw, lime, sawdust, then droppings of manure that are always present on walking alleys with hooves get to the rubber. Straw would absorb these droppings, sand as well, sawdust also, instead of rubber or mattress. Even small amounts of wet excrement just smear on the rubber and cause an increased risk of mastitis. So if you want to use this type of beddings, remember to put straw, sawdust or lime on the top. I really like this photo taken in Polish big farm Sano Agro Institute. Different beddings were tested in small barn. Sand dry manure was on the right and rubber mattress on the left. You see yourself what cows choose. It should be noted that the right wall is too close to the beddings. The cows need about 1 meter in front to get up comfortably. And despite that, they choose different beddings than the rubber mattress. Straw, sawdust are more soft and comfortable for cows. I have been to many farms where the hygiene of beddings and their management were at highest level, but very often forget about the hygiene and cleanliness of places where cows walk. In the picture you can see that way from the milking parlor to the barn. And imagine happy cows running to the drinking points in barn. The teat canal is open after milking, and even if we use good positive product, there is a still small risk that manure from environment pathogens infect mammary gland. In what way? As a result of splashing. You can see how it looks like on this photo. And sometimes the splashing is one of the main reasons for environmental mastitis on farm. Of course, we can always use antibiotics to solve this problem, but of course there are other simple ways to solve this problem. That's why please keep calm, keep clean walking alleys, not only beddings. In our work we cannot simply tell to the owner that his cows are dirty, because it is too subjective. As for the condition of the cow's body condition score was created, in similar way we can score other cleanliness. First point is when the udder is completely free of dirt. The second point allows for up to 10% surface contamination, third point from 10 to 30%, and fourth point above 40%. And only the first and second point is acceptable. But if we have most of the cows in the third and fourth point, we must tell the owner that his beddings or place where the cows walk are not right. There is a high risk of mastitis. We are interested only in cleanliness of the other surface in the scoring, but it's also good to check where on the cow's body dirt is located. If we have a dirty udder, it means that the places where cows walk are not properly cleaned. If the cow's side is dirty and the other too, it means that we need to improve the hygiene of beddings. But last thing, if the cow's tail is dirty, it means that the cows probably have diarrhea and we need to talk with our nutritionist. Milking machine is a very important and underestimated place affecting milk quality. An improperly operating milking machine can cause hyperkeratosis, limit the integrity of teat sphincter, also cause edema leading to a reduction in the local immunity of the teat, and cause discomfort, pain, stress, resulting in improper milk flow because of cortisol. The correct vacuum level should be measured during milking. There are two types of milking machine: old type with an upper milk line, and the modern milking parlor with a lower milk line. We need a vacuum to remove the milk from the udder, and it should be around 38 kilopascal. However, in the case of the upper milk line, we need an additional few kilopascal to take milk from the udder to the milk line level. That is why the old type milking machine is worse for the teat health due to higher pressure. In this photo, you can see the swelling of teeth with the ring visible at the base. It was caused by too high vacuum. Another reason for such swelling may be to pass removal liners from teeth. The machine should stop milking when the milk flow at the end of milking is less than 500 meters per minute. It is settings for 2 times milking per day. 700 meters per minute for 3 times milking, and about 1 liter for automatic milking robots. Unfortunately, which is very common, factory settings are the 150 to 200 meters per minute. The next issue is the changing milking rubber, which is different for different materials are made. It happens sometimes that the owners delay the changing of milking rubber due to the high cost, but please see what happened to the rubber surface after 2000 hours of work or more. Pictures were taken with a microscope help. Such cracked rubber is very hard to wash properly, and it's a great place for pathogenic bacteria. In addition, the used rubber no longer works properly and has a negative effect on teeth. In this photo, you can notice 2 long tubes leading from the milking collector to the milk line. Their bending causes that milk does not flow into the milk line only by gravity. Therefore, we have losses on the vacuum. On this picture here, we have a stable vacuum during milking. It's about 39 kilopascal, and it's stable during whole milking. However, in these pictures, you can see too much fluctuation in vacuum during milking. Maximum vacuum fluctuation should not exceed 2 kilopascal. On the right picture, you can see that difference is more than 20. That's why it's also important to check regularly and, if necessary, clean the regulator, which is responsible for reducing fluctuation in vacuum. Milking hygiene and milking procedures are the key pillars of milk quality. Milking hygiene can be divided in 2 stages. The first, performed before milking, is to reduce environmental bacteria, and the second stage after milking is to eliminate contagious bacteria. Hygiene before milking is to remove as many bacteria from teeth as possible so that they do not get into the udder during milking and after disconnecting the liners. Unfortunately, this video shows what I can't understand very often. Tell me why milkers a lot of times take care more about hygiene of the floor of milking parlor rather than teeth and udder. Very often this is the one of the main cause of polymyositis or uberis. I have observed many times that cows that come to the milking are clean, but they get dirty by milkers who use water too often, and by washing the floor with water under pressure. They create a bacterial spray that hit the teeth. And in fact, water, to be honest, is enemy of milking and should not be used too often. And on this film is similar, but maybe it's worse. What happened? The bacteria from all udder with water go to the teat end. Let's see one more time. Remember, bacteria can't fly from the udder to the teat end. They can go and infect udder only with water. So the question is, what should the correct milking routine and milking hygiene look like? We would like the cow to lie on clean and comfortable beddings and come clean to the milking parlor. Of course, everything sounds beautiful on the presentation, but in fact, on farm it is often difficult to maintain perfect hygiene of the beddings. Because of this, cows often come dirty. And pre-milking hygiene is very useful. There are many different systems for cleaning teeth before milking. Foam is my favorite. Why? Because foam has several advantages. The first is that it consists of tiny bubbles that burst and additionally stimulate the udder to produce oxytocin. The second is that if we let the foam act on the teeth for 30 seconds, it will be quite easy to remove even a large dirt on teeth with one move of towel. The third advantage, if we apply the foam first and therefore strip, it will be more pleasant for cow than for a strip dry teeth. The last advantage, important for me, if foam is on the teeth before a strip, we automatically disinfect the milker's gloves. We often discuss what kind of foam to choose. I prefer foams that have bactericidal effect, although not in all countries it is available to buy that. However, the most important thing is to use a foam and a cap to make foam clean. Forest strip, as you probably know, has three functions. Check in the first streams of milk for clinical mastitis, removal of teeth bacteria and somatic cell, and stimulation of oxytocin production. Cleaning should take place after 30 seconds from applying the foam, because in the fact the main goal for foam is take out the dirt and mechanical cleaning teeth. Cleaning towels, okay, one towel for one cow. We can use paper towel, it is easy to use, or cotton, but here we have to meet a few points. First, if you have cotton towel, you must wash each day. The second point, we must use disinfectants especially designed for this during washing, and wash at the temperature specified by the disinfectant producer. Last point, we have to use machine for drying. The most important place for cleaning is teeth end. As I said, foam very often do not contain bactericidal substance, so we need to mechanically remove dirt using foam. If we clean only the side of the teeth, we will transport all bacteria to the teeth end, which increase the number of mastitis. Okay, on this picture we see a well-cleaned side of the teeth, but if we look to the teeth end, we see very often that dirt go to the teeth end by milkers. It is very important to train milkers in this subject. And here is similar situation. And if you have hyperkeratosis for teeth end, it is not easy to clean the teeth ends. You have to remember that. Again, we cannot tell to the owners or milkers that they are cleaning teeth end not properly. Again, help is card. The card teeth cleaners card is used for this, and you can find it on Westphalia site on internet, and it is very helpful. In practice, it looks like we take a piece of paper towel, and after the teeth have been cleaned by the milkers, but before they attach liners, we clean one more time the teeth end ourselves and check the result. Only the first two scores are positive. The third and fourth scores increase the risk of environmental mastitis. Okay, after cleaning the teeth and forest strip, the milking begins. About parameters I said before. Post-dipping should take place immediately just after milking. However, its main task is to kill contagious bacteria, and the topic today is environmental bacteria. So if you want to reduce environmental mastitis using post-dip, maybe you can try using products that create a barrier, that we call it shield post-dip. They cause that the teeth canal will be more protected against bacteria in milking in walking areas. Okay, this picture was nice post-dip. But if milkers on the farm do their job as in this photo, it is better not to waste money and time on this post-dipping at all. 70% of the teeth must be covered with a post-dipping product. And I have plenty, maybe 1,000 pictures of not good post-dipping done. Okay, this is the way we can check the quality of post-dipping performance. We wrap a teeth around with a paper or cotton towel, which has just been covered with the product. We should receive a continuous line. If we have the image as in the picture, means that the milker do their job not right. And we have to train them, talk to them. Okay, cow. This element cows are often underestimated and considered to be a little importance in practice. The first thing, removing cows from barn to milking parlor, should be calm and easy. Cows should choose the speed at which she moves from the barn to milking parlor, not a man. Otherwise, stress hormones such as cortisol and adrenaline will be produced, which on one hand will decrease the production of oxytocin, and at the other hand blocks the receptor for it. In the next slides, I will explain you the negative consequence of that. Observation of cows in the waiting room. We can learn a lot about milking quality. Here, the rule is that 80% of cows must be turned head to the milking parlor. What cows from the photo want to tell you? Please, not me. I don't want to be milked. Yep. If you see that cows are not going to the milking parlor willingly, or you have to force them to go in, it means that the milking process is not pleasant for them. Maybe you have to high vacuum on bad milking procedures. The first thing, removing cows from the barn to milking parlor should be calm and easy. As I said, cows should choose speed, should go from barn to milking waiting area, not worker. The behavior of this worker was one of the major reasons for poor milking and mastitis of this farm. These cows produce a lot of cortisol and adrenaline. That's why producing of oxytocin is not proper, and it's no way to milk cow in a good way. Okay, if you see picture like this on your farm, it means that you have a rather correct milking routine and milking machine is working properly. And I wish you that. Okay, let's talk about role of oxytocin. For the purpose of the lecture, the other can be divided into parts: glandular part and cistern. And from cistern we can always take milk easily, while oxytocin is needed for the glandular part. As you know, oxytocin will be secreted after stimulation of the udder. In our case, the stimulation is cleaning ticks or forest strip. Unfortunately, it must be a 60 to 90 seconds from stimulation to oxytocin working. This means in practice that from the first stimulation to the liners attached, more than 1 minute must pass. What happens if this time is shorter? And in practice I can tell you that it is so often. First we milk from the cistern, because as I said, it can always be easily removed. And when we take all milk from cistern, we can observe over-milking, because oxytocin has not yet worked. Only after about 90 seconds oxytocin begins to work, and we can take milk from the glandular part. The negative effect of this is over-milking, which leads to hyperkeratosis, leads to pain. We observe prolonged milking, and in some situations during over-milking, milking machine may stop milking because the computer thinks that is no milk in the udder. And cows with udder full of milk go to the barn. It's not good. It's a high risk of mastitis. In this slides show the correct milking graph. At the same time, we milk from the cistern and from the glandular part. Milking time is short and painless. We don't need specialized devices for creating graphs. You can see it using only eyes. This cow was attached to early after 5 seconds, and you can see that it's no milk in the collector. 15 seconds left, still no milk. Now we produce hyperkeratosis, pain, stress, oxytocin. These cows in next milking for sure don't want to go to the milking parlor. She is nervous. 25 seconds left, no milk in the collector. And we have to wait. And after 30-40 seconds, you can see that milk start going. Now oxytocin start work. and we lost about 30-40 seconds. Okay, why do we have problem with E. coli mastitis? First of all, E. coli is rapidly growing. If someone of you do on the farm bacteriology, for sure he knows that the growth of coliform can be seen on the plate even after 6-7 hours, because she is really fast. Unfortunately, in other is fast too. I told you in first lecture that coli mastitis is often problem on good management farms and cows with low somatic cell count. On poorly managed farms or on those that are unable to fight infectious pathogen like aureus or agalactiae, we have high number of somatic cells that are in some way protective against coliforms. If we eradicate this contagious bacteria, we have a low number of somatic cells, and the other becomes without protection. And if E. coli comes to other, she multiplies faster than immunity is able to react. That's why we must maintain the cow's immunity in readiness. And how to do that? Up to date, vaccination are the only way to do that. Okay, the question is, what are the benefits of vaccination against E. coli forms? As I said before, the goal for a veterinarian on farms with a problem with coli mastitis is reduce the severity of clinical cases. Coli rate because of coli mastitis decrease, and I know a lot of farms that after introduction of Starvac vaccine did not record any deaths due to coli mastitis. Next, Andrew Bradley from England proved that in Starvac vaccinated farms there is an increase in yield about 2 liters per cow per day. This is due to the fact that if a cow gets an acute form of coli mastitis at the peak of lactation, in the whole lactation sometimes lose up to few thousand liters of milk. For sure. As you know, very often after acute coli mastitis, the quarter becomes destroyed until the end of the cow's life. This is another positive after vaccination. We protect many quarters from damage, especially at summer in heat stress. And the last benefits, thanks to vaccination, which I enjoy the most, we will limit the use of antibiotics, especially those like fluoroquinolones that are also used in human medicine and are considered the most important in human health. This is because after vaccination most coli mastitis is mild, and we only use non-steroid anti-inflammatory drugs to treat this form. Okay, maybe you can ask, what about specific immunity against streptoberries? What about vaccination? Okay, I can tell you that in Western and Central Europe, a UBAC vaccine, it's quite new, against Streptococcus berries is available. I note that in the future, it probably will be also available in Russia. According to our experience, because we have 1 or 2 years experience, we know that UBAC decrease of minimum 50% clinical cases caused by streptoberries. This is another really effective tool for the prevention of mastitis and a significant reduction in the use of antibiotics. Okay, thank you very much, and wait for question.